My most irrational ick is men using umbrellas. Like, I can't get over it as a concept in general. Like, why are you, as a man, scared of rain? It's just water, H2O. It's the things that we drink. Like, it's water. It's not that deep. I understand girls, because it's like, you don't want your hair to get wet. You don't want your makeup to run. You don't want your shirt to become see-through. You don't want to look like a wet rat. But, like, for a guy, like, who are you trying to impress? Like, it's almost better if you're dripping wet. It's, like, kind of hot, like in the movie. Oh my god, I can't get over it. I've always had this fear, and then today, my fear came true, because I'm with a guy, we're getting bagels, it's raining, put two and two together, he's like, we need to go get an umbrella, and I'm like, play cool, man, like, it's not that deep. We get an umbrella. 10 seconds later, I'm not even kidding, his umbrella flips.
Well, what did the police say?
Well, considering that modern women feel like they have the right to practically gatekeep anything, it should come as a surprise to exactly nobody that this woman feels like she has the right to gatekeep umbrellas. And her logic to this is because Hollywood actors look hot in movie scenes when it's raining. But woman, it's kind of sad that I, a random schmuck on the internet, has to tell you this, but movie rain is temperature controlled. It kind of has to be. And that's because 99% of natural rain is freezing cold, and any man who gets drenched in rainwater runs the risk of hypothermia. So in that regard, you think that a man giving up the ghost thanks to his internal body temperature dropping to catastrophic levels is also a major turnoff, which is no surprise. Now, woman, men are not trying to impress you. They're just trying to remain as comfortable as possible while having to deal with you and your entitled stupidity. Now, no man wants to walk around in drenched clothing. Ask any man who's had to spend multiple hours in drenched socks, and he'll tell you that having cold feet in soaked socks is a miserable experience. Now, if you're trying to manifest this man's mental misery into the physical by forcing him to walk around in drenched shoes, then I guess I can see your point. But no man is going to cater to the idea that nothing leaves you drier than a man who insists on remaining dry during a rainstorm.
And I'm, oh my god, watching him try to fix the umbrella. Oh my god, I was literally just like, please throw it out. Like, dead ass, throw out the umbrella. It's not gonna, like, it kind of broke, and it was like, no, it just has to go altogether. I'd rather be soaking wet than watch you try to flip an umbrella again and again. Like, it's not working. I just think that umbrella usage is feminine. Like, it's objectively feminine to be scared of water. Not scared of water, but like, okay, you don't need to protect yourself from the rain. Like, you're gonna be okay. You're not gonna die. It's not that deep. And yeah, like, I have to get fixed. Like, something up here is wrong, because like, why did it make my stomach drop watching that? Like, I literally thought I was gonna throw up. But yeah, that's my truth. Mwah.
Here, let me hold that.
A brave man likes the feel of nature on his face, Jack.
Yeah, and a wise man has enough sense of getting out of the rain.
Lady, there's no way I can sugarcoat this for you. If I were to say that your brain was broken, it would be a massive compliment, as it would imply that you actually had a functioning brain at one point. Now, you said it yourself. You are turned off at the idea of a man trying to fix a broken umbrella. But I was always under the impression that a man's most romantic gesture, outside of offering you a briefcase with $50,000 in used unmarked bills, was to offer you his umbrella if it was raining. I mean, how is he supposed to do that act of romantic masculine kindness when he's not even allowed to carry one himself? It almost sounds like you just want to gatekeep rain in its entirety. I mean, you might as well at this point. We live in an era where everything is for the girls. Soap, social media, science fiction, sports, professional wrestling, clocks, anything and everything is the exclusive property of the girl boss bay Yas Queens. Now, if I really wanted to, I can make a joke about how you being out in the rain is the only way you're going to get wet nowadays, but I'm not going to do that. I'm a classy intergalactic bounty hunter, and that kind of stuff isn't beneath me, but I also have to pace myself. So let me put it to you this way, Toots. If I have the choice between dealing with you in a rainstorm and shoving my Johnson in a light socket for 20 seconds, I know which one I'd most likely be choosing.
I have a serious question. Where are all the single straight men? Like, I genuinely think there's an inventory issue. Because when I tell you guys, I know so many single women that are successful, beautiful, fun, funny, cool, intelligent, like amazing, amazing women that are the full package, but cannot find a guy.
Oh man, you know what? I totally spaced out. I'm so sorry, lady. I forgot to tell you, the good men were all hanging out over at Skeeter's house last week. So get this. Thanks to a gentleman's bet, Skeeter ended up winning about a half a dozen broken skee ball machines. Now, we had the mechanical prowess and the electrical know-how to get them into working order, and though the idea of a massive ultimate skee ball tournament of ultimate champions was rather tempting, we came up with something better. We decided to improve upon the game of Shoguns by introducing some of the things that just make a man's life worth living. And what can make a game of skee ball better, you might ask? Oh, well, that's actually pretty easy. You just combine it with a couple of crossbows and a man's natural love of sniping for one of the greatest sports to ever be conceived by a human. We rigged up one of Skeeter's hunting crossbows to shoot those wooden skee balls, and with a few alterations, we were able to get distances of up to like a solid 250 feet. And just to make things even more interesting, Skeeter let us borrow his spare ghillie suits to stealth up the game a little bit. It sucks you weren't there to see it, woman, but it really doesn't matter. We were all ghillied up, so you wouldn't have been able to see anything anyway.
And I don't know if it's like big cities or what, but it genuinely seems like for every one guy, there's like 50 amazing women. Whereas all of the single women that I know, between all of us, we don't have a single great guy that we can set the other one up with. Like, I genuinely think there's an inventory issue. And I don't know where all of the single normal men are. Someone help me figure this out.
Idiots! It's simple!
I'm gonna level with you, sister. The reason why all of your beautiful, perfect girl besties can't find a man is simple, and that's because you're a freaking liar. You're not looking for a normal good man. You're looking for the impossible, and that's the loyal Chad that's willing to settle for less than he deserves. Now, you're in Miami, which means that you're pretty much competing with every other painfully average woman to try and get the best possible man. The problem is that there's precious few of him and far too many of you, and that man sees you and your gaggle of carbon copy harlots and knows that all you're good for is a few rounds of hide the cobra with your festering scum dumpster of expired yogurt. He's not going to pick you out of the lineup because his lineup is massive, and he's not going to give up his Playboy bachelor lifestyle for a woman whose greatest life accomplishment is to be considered a mid. Now, I'm not about to tell you to lower your standards. It's far too late for that. And even if you were to make a vain attempt to do so, it still won't work. You'll just resent the guy and break up with him. So the solution to your problem is fairly obvious. Stock up on cat food, woman.
According to society, I should hate my life. I'm 37 years old. I do not date. I'm single. I live alone. I don't have my dream house yet, but I am looking for one, and I don't want kids. I also spend the majority of my time alone, and I have a very, very, very small group of friends. According to the Matrix, outside looking in, I'm a loser. But from the inside out, I have never felt more happy, peace, and freedom in my entire fucking life.
Congratulations!
Has anyone else ever noticed how whenever a modern woman takes umbrage with the judgment of their lifestyles, they're very quick to blame society, and yet there isn't a single modern woman out there who's even come close to giving anything that could even slightly resemble a definition for what that even means. In the eyes of a modern woman, society is just this invisible thing that somehow magically controls how everybody thinks, as if it's this nefarious deity that uses gremlins, witchcraft, and gender studies degrees to somehow control the minds of everybody just to make her feel uncomfortable. Well, I'm here to tell you, sister, nobody gives a crap about what you do or don't do with your life. If you don't want kids, then let your womb be barren. If you want to buy your dream house, then make sure you get the worst possible mortgage rate. It really shouldn't be that hard for someone like you, sister. Society isn't demanding a damn thing from you. But answer me this, woman, if you're so happy being single, childless, with no friends or a house, then why do you feel the need to go online and proclaim this to the world while still looking profoundly miserable and angry? It would seem to me if you were happy about where you are in life, then you wouldn't feel the need to lecture an entire internet's worth of strangers about how happy you are. But then again, I probably lack that emotional intelligence that society keeps telling me I need to get.
And if you resonate with that, or maybe you've manifested a lot of those things, but you felt like, this just isn't quite it, or it's not what I thought it would do for me, it's because you're an old soul. You're the chosen one, and you have a different path. The thing that has filled my heart and soul more than anything on planet Earth has been finding my purpose. When I was younger, I tried to fill that void with people, places, things, you name it. I drank my way through my fucking teens, just to fill something, when in actuality, it was because I was here on a higher path. And every time that I tried to fill it with like a partner or something, I seriously have never felt more lonely in my entire life.
Emotional damage.
Woman, just because you spent the majority of your teens and your 20s getting wasted and hooking up just to fill whatever void you're feeling doesn't mean that you're an old soul. In fact, I don't even know what the hell an old soul even is. Does it mean that you've been possessed by the soul of an 80-year-old or something? You'd think that if you were an old soul, you'd have some wisdom to part with the rest of the world from your learned experiences, but you don't seem to be doing that. You're swearing, you're talking down to people, and you're bragging about how great you are and how you're the chosen one. But apparently that's not the case. I mean, you've been chosen for literally nothing. You claim to have this epic higher purpose in life, but you're 37 years old and you're still trying to figure that part out, which really isn't a great place to be. Especially when your calling involves purchasing a house. You'd think that if you were an old soul, you'd be foregoing such meaningless material things, but there you are. You're sitting in your overpriced car, wearing overpriced clothing, and living a life of obvious excess, which sounds to me at least like the exact opposite of an old soul who's also the chosen one. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a regular soul. There's nothing old about mine.
So if you're resonating with this, it's because you have a deeper path. You have a higher calling and you have a mission. And once you have the courage to line up with the thing that you came here to do and you get visible as fuck with it, you will literally feel free from all the fucking matrix programming. Because when you're an old soul, when you're the chosen one, the thing that is going to fill you up the most is your mission. And once you're vibing in that frequency, anyone or anything that comes along is just a little bonus on top. Fuck what society says. Follow your soul and you will know true freedom. Period.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Okay, I'm kind of confused here. How can you be the chosen one and living in a world with other chosen ones? I mean, doesn't that completely defeat the purpose of having a chosen one if there's multiple? I mean, how does that even work? One is just that. One. It's singular. You can't have more than one chosen one. If that was the case, then it would be something bigger. Now, I do agree. Once you start thinking for yourself, it's an incredibly freeing experience. But the problem is you're not exactly doing that, sister. You didn't just drink the Kool-Aid, you straight up mainlined it. There is nothing that you have said that sets you apart from any of the other middle-aged single broads on this platform. All you've done is figure out another way to parrot the same talking points. You're not the first woman to say that you've been put on this earth for a higher calling while also racking up bodies the same way that Ted Nugent racks up firearms. And you won't be the last. You don't think for yourself, because to do that, you need to take accountability for your actions and understand that you are in control of your own life. But no, it's society's fault for not accepting you for the damaged chosen one that you are. And while we're on that particular subject, the idea of you being the chosen one for anything is kind of terrifying, because if you are, you're getting an awful late start to that particular mission.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
Just want to take a few moments to say thank you to the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for their continued support of my work as I get content out to all of you fine folks every single day on the information superhighway. So to the fine members of the Bounty Board, I cannot thank you enough, and I salute you. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment down below for you. And of course, you can always support the channel by liking this video, leaving comments, sharing, and if you're enjoying my particular brand of comedy, then I hope I've earned your subscription today.
I have literally been dying to tell the story for months. I finally got the okay and I'm so excited. The world needs to know the story. So my mom was in college. She had this boyfriend and he was in a frat. So in my mom's boyfriend's frat, there was this really hot guy. Obviously she didn't do anything because she had a boyfriend, but of course you can still window shop. So she becomes friends with this guy in college. Then my mom graduates and she moves back home. And at this point she had broken up with her boyfriend from college. So while she's home, she gets a call and it's this guy. And he's like, hey, I moved to Connecticut and I don't have a lot of friends here. Do you want to hang out?
Right.
No, woman, if you're in a committed relationship with another man, you cannot, in fact, window shop. Let's look at it this way. Let's say the shoe was on the other foot. Your mother's boyfriend was invited to one of her sorority parties, and at this sorority was an incredibly beautiful woman. Would you be okay if your father was just window shopping for a hotter woman? Well, of course not. And the same rule applies to your mother. The fact that your mother felt justified in checking out a more attractive man than her boyfriend just goes to show that she doesn't have an ounce of respect in her body, or respect for anyone else for that matter. And the fact that you find her blatant hypergamy to be socially acceptable really does goes to show that your mother did not impart the virtues of respect onto you either. And it just goes to show that the idea of a woman being able to justify being attracted to another man with petty logic really does show the lack of virtues a modern woman has really does go back longer than we would like to admit. The only difference is that the modern woman lacks any form of shame and has no problem proclaiming it to the world, which really does prove that we are completely and utterly screwed as a species.
So they start hanging out. They literally go on runs together all the time. They start going skiing together, literally just doing everything together. At this time, my mom was dating my dad. So again, nothing's happened. But then one day, they both admit to having crushes on each other in college. So my mom and dad end up breaking up. My mom decides she wants to move out to Colorado. So this man helps my mom move out to Colorado. But as much as he wants to move out there with her, he can't. He has to stay back in Connecticut. My dad ends up following my mom out to Colorado. Obviously, we know where this goes. My parents get married, and this man comes to the wedding with his new girlfriend, who he ends up marrying later on.
That's just grossly inappropriate.
You know, I've never been the biggest fan of weddings, but I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that particular celebration of nuptials, because man, the awkwardness must have been through the frickin' roof. Here we have a gal who's been down bad for a guy to the point where she has no problem seeing this dude she's been wanting to pork for years showing up at her wedding to a man she clearly does not want to marry. And you're acting like this is the setup to the most romantic love story of all time, even though you're glossing over the fact that your mother was clearly cheating on your father with this guy. Now, just because they weren't humping on the regular doesn't mean she wasn't cheating. By getting into an emotional relationship with this man, she violated the trust and sanctity of the current relationship. It's called emotional cheating, and yes, it is a thing. And all we need to do to prove this is to reverse the genderisms, and you'll see my point. You would never be okay with your father doing this to your mother. But since it's your harlot of a mother, then it's totally acceptable because it's just plain romantic. Which just goes to show that you were clearly failed as a child. But then again, we don't need to hear this story to know that.
They both get married and they fall out of touch. My parents, they end up getting divorced when I'm 5. 17 years now, but who's counting? 30 years go by and my mom has not talked to this man. This October, she gets a LinkedIn message from none other than this man telling her that he's been divorced for a few years now. My mother has obviously been on the market for a while at this point. Sorry, Mom. And they start messaging and reconnecting. Both of them finally single. And now, in March, they are finally dating after 30 years of missing each other.
Wow. That's amazing.
So in other words, your mom can finally be exclusive with the man that she's been emotionally cheating on with not one, but 2 other men, huh? And it's only after 30 years of no contact that this guy just randomly shows up to start things? Well, that just sounds like a match made in heaven. And by heaven, I mean a massive dynamite factory that's standing underneath a heavily armed nuclear missile silo. I mean, why would this be exciting? This woman has been using this man as a means to be unfaithful to the other men in her life, and only after she's been divorced and hopelessly single for over 3 decades does she finally accept this man into her life? Yeah, your mother's leaving some stuff out of that particular story there, sweetheart. Pretty much anything and everything she needs in order to not be the bad guy of that particular story. There's nothing sweet or romantic about this. All you've done is prove that your mother is an emotional harlot who has no problem lying and cheating if it means she can have her cake and eat it too. But what I find awfully interesting is how it sounds like you're vicariously living through your own mother's romances, because it's pretty obvious you don't have one for yourself. But hey, it's your life to waste, darling.
I mean, you cannot tell me this is not the definition of the right person, wrong timing. Like, literally straight out of one day. Constantly missing each other. Like, isn't that story freaking crazy? I am so beyond happy for my mom. If anyone deserves this, it's her. But like, tell me this story isn't straight out of a Nicholas Sparks book. It goes to show, just because you think it's over now, it doesn't mean it's done forever. I love you, Mom, and I'm so happy for you.
What?
Well, I hate to break it to you, sister, but life ain't a storybook, and the fact that your mother is shacking up with a dude she's wanted for over 30 years doesn't mean a damn thing. It only matters if they stay together happily until one of them decides to go feed some worms. Then you can celebrate that. But if they've only been dating for a few months, then that's not necessarily a victory. That's to be expected. You want life to be just like one of those young adult books you've been rereading since the 7th grade. But that's only because it seems like those books are pretty much the peak of your intellectual prowess. And all we have to do to prove this is to answer the ultimate question. If this was truly the right man for your mother, then why didn't your mom break up with her boyfriend to be with this guy? Why did she get back with your dad when she was apparently hung up on someone else? It seems to me like if this is a storybook romance, then it should have ended with the two of them in their prime. Not 30 years after the fact when she's become old and haggard, but then again, that's just me using basic common sense again. I keep forgetting that basic common sense is a concept that's too complicated for you to understand. Sorry about that, sister. My bad. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.